Welcome back to No Filter Auto. Today, we're looking at the car that didn't just signal a new model year, it signaled a new Ford, a new America. The war was over, the factories were retooled, and the buying public was ravenous for the future. In 1949, Chevrolet and Plymouth launched all new and fastback and designs. Ford's response: a clean sheet revolution. This is the 1949 Ford Custom. It wasn't an evolution. It was a declaration of independence from the past, and it saved the company. Let's set the stage. The late 1940s were a design battleground. Ford's previous models were rounded, fender-heavy, and dated. For 49, under designers like George Walker and Holden and Bob and Cotto, Ford took a radical turn. They introduced the first all-new post-war American car design. The Custom featured slab-sided, integrated pontoon fenders that flowed seamlessly into the doors, a chrome and spinner and grille, and a lower, wider, sleeker profile. Most importantly, it offered two body styles, a sleek fastback and sportsman and the car that would define the mainstream, the four-door and Tudor and sedans with a distinct, formal and three-box and shape, separate hood, cabin, and trunk. The hook was modernism. It looked like it was moving, even standing still. But here's the no-filter truth under that sleek sheet metal. The 1949 Ford was a triumph of integrated engineering and manufacturing. It was the first Ford with a completely new chassis since 1941, featuring a lower center of gravity and improved handling. While it still used the classic flathead V8, now at 100 horsepower, or a thrifty inline-six, the real story was the body. It was the first Ford designed from the ground up, with advanced aircraft-style unitized body construction on some models, making it lighter, stiffer, and roomier inside than its rivals. The appeal was a feeling of solidity and sophistication. It offered a more planted, car-like drive than the older, truck-based chassis of its predecessors. For a family stepping into the modern era, it promised safety, space, and a taste of upscale design at a workingman's price. Now, let's talk about the pure, unfiltered experience. Slamming the door gives a solid, reassuring and thud, and you settle into a cabin that feels airy and bright. With a panoramic one-piece curved windshield on deluxe models, you turn the key, and the flathead V8 fires with its distinctive, smooth, watery burble. On the road, the ride is noticeably smoother and quieter than before. The steering is lighter, the car feels nimble and tight. It doesn't float like a Cadillac, it drives with a sense of purpose. The sensory experience is one of cheerful, robust modernity. The gleam of chrome on the dash, the efficient hum of the engine, the feeling of being in a well-made, contemporary machine designed for the new highways and suburban streets of America. Here's the reality of its monumental impact. The 1949 Ford was a colossal, desperate gamble that paid off beyond anyone's dreams. It was launched after a crippling strike and against fierce competition. Yet, it was a sensation. It won the 1949 Motor Trend and Car of the Year and award, the first car ever to do so. Sales exploded, pulling Ford back from the brink and into a fierce sales war with Chevrolet that would define the 50s. It proved that the American family wanted modern design, not just recycled pre-war ideas. It was the right car at the perfect moment. So, the no-filter comparison. Its arch-rival was the 1949 Chevrolet style line, with its rounded fastback look, and the Plymouth Special Deluxe. The Ford stood apart with its cleaner, more squared-off and slab-side and styling and more advanced construction. It competed not just on looks, but on its feeling of structural integrity and space efficiency. It appealed directly to the rising middle class, the returning GI, the young family, who saw it as a sensible, stylish, and smart step into a prosperous future. The legacy of the 1949 Ford Custom is the foundation of modern Ford. It established the design language that would lead to the legendary 55 Thunderbird and the iconic 57 Fairlane. It proved that innovation and bold design could win in the mass market. It was the car that made post-war Ford a contender, setting the stage for the fabulous 50s. The 1949 Ford Custom stands as a monument to pragmatic brilliance and timely courage. It is the car that rolled out of the factory not just as a new model, but as a fresh start for a company and a symbol of optimism for a nation. It wasn't the most powerful or the most luxurious. It was the most necessary. And in being exactly what America needed, it became a legend. If this kind of story about the pivotal cars that shaped companies and cultures fuels your passion, hit subscribe to No Filter Auto. Tell us in the comments, does the 1949 Ford deserve its place as one of the most important American cars of all time?